Day. And the first thing that really came to mind was for militia. So I understand that, the FBI certainly did dismantle the Black Panther Party.
Mm-hmm.
It still exists today, but not, it doesn't have the same influence that it once did. But I appreciate discipline within the Black community. I appreciate unity and everybody being on one accord. And as grim as it might sound, I appreciate Black people deciding to bear arms.
Yeah.
I feel like there's this stigma that, that's terrible, don't carry guns, but we have that right for a reason. We have
Mm-hmm.
that right to be able to be able and grab a gun and have a license for it and be able to carry it. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I feel like protecting ourselves and arming ourselves with knowledge collectively would
Mm-hmm.
be good, because I know I mean, from what I've been reading and from what I've been listening to and hearing, that when the police go into those Jewish communities, they go into the Irish communities and everything like that, and they start trying to cause some trouble and everything, the way they band together and the way they unify and the way they come out like, oh, you're not bringing this shit up in here, and the way they carry guns, the police don't really get down with them as much as they get down with us. You know what I mean? They don't.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little more reluctant to go ahead and just kill them. And I understand that they have a different skin tone, but I feel as though if we decided to just say, hey, enough is enough, we know what we're willing to die for. We
Mm-hmm.
are forming militia. You can't just come up in here and do what you've been doing for years and centuries, and have your necks on our knees and kill us in our own homes when we're just watching television, or be make it okay so that we can just exercise and just get shot up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there should be a fear of repercussion that if I do fuck with the Black community, things are going to happen to me
Mm-hmm.
because they are unified
Mm-hmm.
together.
So yeah.
That's just how I feel.
Yeah. I'm writing down notes. So yes, speak passionately. I'm trying to catch you as you say things that really just like they just kind of hit me in a certain kind of way. Um, but yeah, that whole topic of unifying, unity, it is interesting when I think about, because I've been doing a lot of research on the Black Panther Party myself. I'm very interested in the Black Panther Party. I'm very interested in being in being an armed woman. And that's something that I think is important now more than ever and forevermore, especially here in these United States, as they say. But yeah, that was one thing that I was like, yeah, of course, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. It just makes me think about, like, I really wonder, and I don't understand why it seems as though, and it could just be me, and maybe maybe one of you have a different perspective, but like, it seems like when Black organizations get together, or when people come together to form, when Black people come together to form some kind of like uh, organization, or like they walk hand in hand with a mission of like what we're talking about. Sometimes it's like after a while we don't hear about them anymore, or like they're not as effective as they were in the beginning. I think about like sororities. I'm wondering if they're making their presence known as much as they can be. And I don't want to sound like I'm being judgmental, because I really don't know. But I just don't know. And I'm curious. And I'm like, if these organizations, like you said, like the Black Panther Party is, because I know that there's still a party that exists. I just don't know how active and how they are in their activation of what they do. But like the coming together, I wonder why it's so hard. And I just wonder about that. But it has to be done. Because I think your example with the Jewish community, and even other pockets of communities and cultural groups just standing their ground. Like, for instance, the Indigenous Americans that I think that was up in, where were they trying to drill
The pipeline,
yeah,
the Dakota pipeline. What was it?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think situations like that, because that wasn't the only time that they had to confront the drilling, or the imposition of the like government imposition. But like, you're absolutely right, and it's nice to see stuff like that. They got together and they made their voice known and heard, and we heard them. I don't know if y'all remember, but it was a very loud, to me, it was like a very loud call for help, for like for galvanizing, coming together and saying, we will not stand for this. And it wasn't just them. After a while, like now, other backgrounds of people came together and was like, yeah, we support you. We won't stand for it either with you, you know. And I think that that's going to be important for us. And that might be what's going on right now. We will continue to work toward it and see. What you think, Quint?
Well, they just won the case. I don't know if you like they just won. Like, yeah, it was like
really?
Recent. Like, yeah, they that pipeline, Dakota pipeline thing. Yeah. Like they just.
I'm gonna look that up.
That's like recent news.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I think I thought about it, and honestly, at first I didn't have really anything because it's like, yo, we tried everything, and you know, look where we are. You know, that's just my viewpoint. I mean, I think right now, I think we realize that enough is enough. And I think with all these protests going on, there are certain areas where we are being heard, but it's still not enough. You know, like we're still getting the short end of the stick. And my question is just like, what other options do we have outside of just putting action into it nowadays? Like, you know, I think we've expressed our concerns through our voices, and now it's coming to the point where now we're expressing our concerns with action. And unfortunately, I think that's just what it comes down to. Now, I'm not a violent person. You know, I didn't grow up like, you know, I don't have the knowledge or experience of like guns and possessions. Like I never even like shot an actual gun for real. Mm-hmm. However, at this point, it's just like, gosh, you got to hold your own now, you know? And it's just like, it's just unfortunate that it has to come down to it. But I look back at all the speeches that King spoke, you know, and Malcolm X, and it's just like, you know, we've been peaceful for so long, you know, and look what that's got us. You know, we're still down on the street, like to this day, like we're still being killed by policemen. You know, George Floyd wasn't the last person, unfortunately.
Right.
So I think it's just like, how else? Now, on the artistic side, you know, I try to see what I can do, like using the talents and the gifts that I have as far as like just acting. And my thing is just like, you know, maybe I can find a small group where we can just write up something and produce this, you know, like just a scene of just really just something really deep and something really controversial, you know, that can really just be spread throughout social media, that can be shared. But the thing with that is just finding a group where we can just get together. I thought about like, I need a videographer, I need somebody that can really write, I need some actors, sound guy, all that, you know. I just want like with good quality, you know, not something like cheap and, you know, but something that would really just like, you know, let's use our gifts for those who are talented. Like, let's see what we can do creatively to like voice our concern, you know, something that's really unsettling, you know, not like this cookie cutter thing. Like, let's dig deep into what's really bothering us. So that's what I thought. But the majority side of me, like, was like, I'm just exhausted. I really don't know what else is there to do, but to put action behind our words now. You know, they say no justice, no peace. And I really believe we're going to get down to that point where nobody's going to have peace, because until we be heard, you know, and that calls for some action. And I stand by it. I support it, because at the end of the day, I'm tired. I'm a tired Black man, and I don't know if I'm going to be the next one. And we got to hold our own, because ain't anybody else holding us, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's how I feel.
Great. So, I appreciate you sharing that.
I try to have more for you, but it's like,
no, it's not for me, but I feel you, but it's not for me. Like, I just want us to talk, you know, because I don't know, like, I don't know, man, but it's just got to be more on it. I think the thing is, I hope that it's more of a conversation that's on tables around this kind, like different tables around this country. Like we can't do anything without coming together and talking about what's possible, or like even just what one person thinks is possible, that could actually spark something for that one person now, or maybe in a couple of months or years even. But at least like we get it out, these ideas out, and just meditate. If we meditate together, I just feel like, you know, it might not necessarily seem like something is going to happen that will better the situation, but we just never know. And so, like I was saying last time, I don't know if it was last time or last week, like we can't reach a place unless we start reaching. Like we can't, you know, like it's never going to come to us. Nothing's coming to us. I mean, we can just, I think, thinking about it that way. And then Morgan, I like what you're saying about like just being protected at all times, and being legally protected at all times, because we can be hopeful all we want to, and we can hope that people will see what we're doing and all this kumbaya-ing around the world. I think it's an amazing thing. Like, it feels so good to see. When I was looking at this map and saw all these different countries and places and people that are coming together to stand up for the murder and the justice of George Floyd, but also other Black and brown bodies around this world, but also it's so many other issues that we all see and know are problems. And for some reason, it just seems like people don't really get their fair share. The people that never have still don't. Yeah. And I'm just curious about like, what the fuck?
Well, Mary, I think the beauty of what you're saying is that just because of all of this, the conversations are now are beginning to be had. You know, people felt at ease. You know, when Obama was in office, we felt at ease that we didn't have to have these conversations as far as protection is concerned. I've been in some rooms, and these conversations, these things are being put on the table. What can we do? You know, J. Edgar Hoover said that the biggest threat to the United States was Black unity. And he said that during the era of the Black Panthers. And knowing that Black unity is such a threat, knowing that we have a target on our backs, we understand the power that we hold. And whether it's within, you know, whether it's economics, whether we're saying, okay, we're not putting money into these businesses anymore until we feel safe, until we feel protected, because we're like the #1 consumers in this country, I believe. So
I think so too. I remember it was that. It might still be that.
Yeah, it might still be that, you know. I mean, but I'm just going to say the removal of our dollars is going to hurt. You know what I mean? Like when we begin to unify and form militia, it's going to hurt. And we will have those targets on our back because we just understand how powerful we actually are. But I don't feel as though that should derail us. You know what I mean? If anything, that should encourage us to understand that we can move one step forth, galvanize, and continue to, to be there for one another and support the Black community. And then another thing that I saw that just really warmed my heart, you know, they protesting everywhere in LA. No matter where I drive, I'm seeing a protest on some corners. And in some corners, I don't even see one Black person. I see white people.
I've noticed that too in some
Black Lives Matter signs. And that was beautiful to me that, you know, like however you want to feel, just understand that there are not just allies, but accomplices. I feel like an ally is somebody that's just going to say, well, sure, I'm on your side. But an accomplice is somebody that's going to be there and have your back and actually take action with you. So that shows me that we have accomplices out here ready to get out on the corners without even one of us fucking present, excuse my language, and hold it down, you know, signs with everybody's names on them, with Black Lives Matter on them. So understanding that we're not alone, you know what I mean? I mean, it is going to start with us.
Yeah.
It is with us. I feel that wholeheartedly, and we got to be on one accord. You know, the Black Panther Party was dismantled for so many reasons. There were internal issues between Stokely Carmichael and Bobby Seale and all types of things. They had informants going on. It was a whole bunch of bullshit.
It was
a whole bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
If we can learn from our mistakes, I feel like we can do better.
Yeah. One last thing I just wanted to throw out there is that something that I have a problem with sometimes is like, I sometimes have a problem with pessimism. Like, I'm just like, you know what, this shit is too heavy. It ain't gonna be fixed. I have felt that way, and I have felt that way for the longest time. And part of me, probably somewhere in me, it does still feel that way, or I remember that feeling, and it's just not too far from me. But the thing about pessimism and something as big as the issue that that racism and what racism has bred in this country and around the world. And what thing about it is that, like, it's an issue that affects people. It actually kills people. And if it wasn't that big of an issue, I would probably be okay and accept my complacency and pessimism. But the fact that people's lives are being terrorized, that makes it like worth a little bit more of faith and action and optimism that I can muster up. It's just worth it. Because yeah, it could be you, Quincy, and it could be me the next day, and then it could be you. I mean, like, it could be us. We just don't know. It's not about what school we've gone to. It's not about our education. It's not about the way we look. When it comes down to it, it's about a racist and somebody that he or she or whomever just doesn't want to be able to, doesn't want to see as a human being, and it's something that we can't control when it actually happens, because they see what they see. And so I don't know, but I think, even though I don't think we necessarily have the answer, or there is no one answer, but I think it's worth us just talking about it, and maybe thinking about it sometime later on our own when we feel like it, because it is a heavy topic. It's heavy. It feels heavy. Like right now, I'm ready to read the script because it feels so heavy. But it is worth it, and I just appreciate you all going there for a second, because yeah, that's the thing about it. It's the world we live in. So to talk about it and try to face it and deal with it and respond to it, that feels like even a heavier burden sometimes, on top of what it is to just be. So, but anyway, yeah, I just appreciate you all, like, kind of going there for a second and having the conversation. Maybe one of many conversations. Yeah. So, all right. Okay. Thank you again. I'm going to pull up the script. So, all right. Okay. Let's get down to it. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. Miss Julie, August Strindberg. It is Midsummer Eve in a room in the servants' quarters of the Countess. A pool of light holds a table with one chair. There is a bed and a chair in a second area, in its own light. Jean's dress coat is on the bed. There is a third area in its own light, clearly separated from the other two areas. There is a vase of lilac sprigs on the table. The people of the estate are celebrating this traditional Swedish holiday with a dance in the barn. Music and voices can be heard. It is early evening. We hear the sounds of people approaching from the barn, laughing and singing.
Nonsense. These are my people and they love me. Let them find us here. You'll see.
No, Miss Julie, they don't love you. Like, they take your food, but they spit at it behind your back. God, listen to what they're singing. No, God, no, don't listen.
Listening.
What are they singing?
They made up a nasty song about you and me.
Wow. Disgusting. Behind my back?
Man, they're nothing but a bunch of cowards. But the only thing we can do is get away.
Get away? Where? We can't get out without them seeing us.
There's no choice. So do what you have to do. Come into my room right here. Trust me. I'm your true friend. You know you can trust me, don't you?
But supposing they were to look for you in there.
I'll lock the door. And if they try to break in, I'll break their heads open. Come on.
Begging.
Please. Come.
Intensely.
You promise?
I swear.
Julie goes quickly into the area near the bed, and Jean follows her. In Strindberg's play, the servants' dance takes place here instead of the following scene. Lights fade on the kitchen during most of the rest of the scene. There is background sound and singing, dancing, drinking, talking, partying. Jean gives Julie a look. She avoids meeting his eyes. He moves to the chair and sits. Julie prowls around the room as if searching for a way out. Jean watches her.
May I sit down?
Gestures to the bed.
Of course you may.
Annoyance.
Oh.
With an air of command.
I wish to sit down.
Then please, dear lady, sit. Make yourself completely at home.
Gestures to the bed again. At her look of disgust, he offers his lap. He laughs at her discomfort. Julie maintains her air of command.
A moment ago, you kissed my foot and knelt to me. You adored me. Now you aren't even enough of a gentleman to give up your chair for a lady.
Well, that was out there. This isn't here.
How can I do that? How can I lower myself to your level?
John says nothing, but smiles ever so sweetly and gestures again to the bed.
Intolerable insolence.
John's smile disappears. She glares at him, then turns sullenly away. She moves to the opposite side of the bed, turns her back on him, and sits.
I wonder if you really should be so high and mighty. Consider your position. Just suppose now. Suppose I were to open the door.
You wouldn't.
Just suppose.
But if you did.
Yes. What if I did?
All those people.
What about them?
They would see.
What would they see?
You and I together here.
All those eyes.
Staring.
Oh, yes, they stare all right.
Staring at me.
Staring at you.
You wouldn't do it.
Why wouldn't I?
They see you too. They'd be staring at you just as much as me.
Why would that matter?
The shame of it.
For you, not for me.
You wouldn't be ashamed?
Not necessarily.
But how could you help it?
Things are different for the man.
For the man.
Yes, for the man. They'd be pretty impressed with me.
Because you're the man.
And because you're the woman. For you, pointing fingers and staring eyes everywhere you go. For me, a chuckle, a grin, even a slap on the back when the women are around.
A moment of silence. Julie slowly stands up and comes to him. She hesitantly touches his shoulders and begins to massage them.
But then it would be over between us.
Yes, over.
There would be no more times together. Soft times, gentle times.
Quiet times, alone, in a room.
Alone in a room somewhere.
A little place.
Cottage.
By the sea.
With the sound of the surf.
And the cry of the gulls.
Alone and peaceful.
Relaxed and happy.
A time to touch.
A time to touch one's lover.
Softly touch.
To take the ribbon from her hair.
Gently pull it free.
Letting her hair down.
Loose and easy.
Easy and free.
As they speak, she undoes her hairpin and lets her hair fall. She stays behind him. He does not turn around to her yet.
Soft and flowing.
Silky on my hands.
And then, what?
Yes. What then?
Silly boy, don't you know?
No, I don't.
Then my lover won't get far, will he?
Not without your help.
No, not without my help.
Turns around in his chair.
Show me.
Show you what?
What happens next?
It buttons at the back.
Does it now?
And it ties at the waist.
Show me.
Show you which?
The buttons.
Like this one.
She reaches behind her neck and undoes the top button.
Like that one.
Satisfied?
No.
Well, what else do you want to say?
You said it ties at the waist.
Yes, it does.
Show me.
Like this.
She turns 3/4 away from him and shows him the knots.
But there are still more buttons.
More ties.
You'll need help.
No, I don't think so.
You'll do it all yourself?
Or perhaps not at all.
My lover wouldn't stop.
Your lover never started.
She made me believe she did.
But you were wrong, you see.
I don't think so.
She changed her mind.
I didn't change mine.
She wants to listen to the sea.
The sea is far, far away from here.
Well, then so is my lover.
Your lover is here with you now.
That's not what I want.
That's what I want.
No.
There's always the door.
He steps toward her. She shies away. He steps toward her again. She turns her back on him. He steps behind her and touches the back of her dress by the top buttons.
No.
Then do it yourself.
No, I won't.
There's always the door.
She moves away from him, huddling away, trying to protect herself from his presence.
Imagine his hands on you, on your clothing, but not soft, not gentle, hard, strong, ripping, tearing, stripping.
Her hands flutter back toward the fastenings of her dress.
Imagine him with those hard, strong hands. And imagine the door open all the time.
He begins undoing her dress.
People watching, his hands tearing, his eyes hungry, their eyes watching, his mouth on your neck, on your throat, on your lips. You try to get away. He holds you. His arms are strong, too strong for you. You push and twist and kick, but you can't get away. He is your master.
She lets her dress fall and stands huddled in her shift.
What then?
Yes. What then?
Softly.
He picks me up.
And then?
He carries me to the bed.
Yes.
I'm helpless.
You can't move.
He lays me down on the bed.
Yes.
A moment of silence.
Do it.
I can't.
You have to.
I won't.
I'll do it for you.
The door.
Yes. The door.
And then?
Yes. And then everything else, that's how it will be.
Stiffly and awkwardly, she lowers herself onto the bed. John moves to the side of the bed and stands over her.
Lie down.
Still stiffly, she lies down on the bed, not knowing where to put her hands and feet.
Your lover is here,
Here.
like a warm, bright sun.
Shining on the seashore.
And the sound of the waves.
Warm and strong.
You stretch in the sun like a cat, soft and warm.
Soft and warm.
He goes limp. He leans over her, putting his hands on either side of her. She lies with her eyes closed.
Where's your lover now?
Here.
What will he do?
Whatever he likes.
A moment of silence. She lies with her eyes closed, painfully anticipating his touch. He makes no move to touch her.
Where is my lover?
You don't have a lover.
She starts and opens her eyes and looks at him.
But I do. Here, by the sea.
You are not by the sea. And you don't have a lover. I have what I want. No, I won't. I don't have to.
Don't you want to?
No, not very much.
Then what do you want? The door?
What I have, Julie.
How dare you call me by my given name?
I'll call you anything I want. Oh, don't worry, I'll be proper. When there are people around, when there's a reason, even though it won't matter.
It will matter. I don't want them to know.
They know, Julie. They all know. I don't have to say a word. They know I was here. They know you came in. They know you didn't leave. They know everything they did. They know everything they need to know. And you'll see it in their eyes every time they look at you.
Then why not make it true, huh? You have me. Take me.
Why should I give you the satisfaction?
A short silence. A sudden light of victory comes into her face.
Because you can't. That's why.
A short silence. He does not respond.
I see it now. You're not able. You're less than a man. You're only a gelding. A big, strong gelding. Ready to be ridden wherever I want to go.
Hands up.
Do you believe that?
Viciously.
Yes, I believe it.
John stands directly before her, legs spread.
You may verify your supposition at your convenience, Miss Julie.
She starts to move her hand towards him, stops, tries again, stops. She can't do it. She suddenly twists away from him and curls into a ball, pulling her shift around her. She may be crying. Jean watches her for a little while, then he moves away from her, weary, disgusted, but satisfied.
Get dressed.
He picks up her dress and tosses it onto the bed beside her. She lies still for a moment.
You mustn't watch me.
I'll watch you if I feel like it.
He watches as she pulls her dress on. She struggles with the buttons. Finally, she goes to him and turns her back, her hands at her sides. He finishes fastening her dress for her. The sounds of revelry have faded off into the distance. They leave the bedroom and return to the kitchen, wound up.
Now you know. And you know they also know. You see why you can't stay. It's impossible.
End of this scene. Just want to say that this is an adaptation because I think this is important. This is an adaptation by Robert Bethune. If anybody is curious and if anybody's like, I didn't see that scene in the play, that's why. Because it wasn't in there. All right. Unless it was this guy's adaptation. But I was curious real quick on page, you don't have to go to it because maybe you know what I'm talking about. Do what? He on page, I think it's 13, when I think he's saying to her, you won't do it. Right? Is that what it said? Hold on. Let me go to page 13. Where are we? Where are we? I'm just trying to, I'm wondering what the, okay, you're fully naked at one point in this. What was she expecting? And I'm wondering, what does he think that she was gonna do? I'm finding the page, y'all. I'm sorry, because I was like, do what? and okay, not that. Did I say 13? Yeah, so onto the bed. Wait, here comes. Oh, okay. So this is like at the bottom of page 13 where he's like, you can't move. And then she says, he lays me down on the bed. He's like, yes. And then he says, do it. And then she's like, I can't. And then he's like, you have to. And she's like, I won't. And then he says, I'll do it for you. Is this undress yourself?
Oh, no, well, her dress is already falling.
It's already, let me see.
That top of 13 says she lets her dress fall and stands huddled in her shift.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that do it is just like kind of like a resist type thing where I get up, go ahead and leave if you really feel like this is inappropriate. That's what I think. Because she says the door. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, go ahead, do it. Go ahead, leave.
Okay.
Oh, my mind.
I can't.
I thought it was something else.
Well, what you get? So this is why. This is why we talk. So what were you thinking, Morgan? Morgan, was your mind in the gutter?
It was in the gutter.
What? Okay, was it in a specific gutter or was it just in a general gutter?
It was in a specific gutter.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
it was in a specific gutter.
The gutter, like do something to him.
I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the gutter it was in.
Oh.
And
I'm reading it. And it can go several different ways.
It can.
I can see that.
It can.
Like he says, then I'll do it for you. Like, okay, well then I'm about to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why scripts are fun. because you can interpret them the way you choose or the way you are inclined to interpret them. Huh.
Wow.
Interesting. Well, okay. Any thoughts? Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and eat a mandarin on that note.
So specific.
You know? Mm-hmm. But yeah.
What did you think, Mary? Did you share what you thought it was?
About what that was?
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure. That's why I asked, because I was like, At first, the first thing that came to my mind was do something sexual. Like something about it, he's saying something sexual. That's just what came to my mind first. Not saying
Right.
that that's what I boiled it down to. But he carries me to the bed. Yeah, I'm helpless, okay? You can't move, so I can't move, right? He lays me down, so I'm on the bed, because you lay me down, I'm naked. You do it, I can't.
It's only that line where like I say I'll do it for you. I think that's what kind of tripped me up. It's just like,
oh, you know what?
What would he want her to do that he would do if she didn't do it? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think
So,
it is the embarrassment.
I think that's like a test. I think that's like one of those. All right, let me. It's one of those. I can't explain it, but you know how like you got somebody where you want them to be, and it's like you're testing them. Like, all right, now go ahead. You know, like they're not, but it's just like kind of mess with them in a sense. You know,
because he's definitely effing with her right now.
Yeah, I think he got her at a vulnerable place right now.
Super duper. So yeah, so the first thing that came to my mind is that he's kind of like nudging her to expose what you all are doing. Just the fact that you, a woman of such stature and you know such reputation, and him, Quincy. No, I'm just joking. I love you, Quincy. But him, this guy who is a manservant. I mean, he literally, you tell him what to do and he does it. That's who he is. I mean, he happens to have a lot of interesting qualities that obviously she's attracted to, but really his job is just to come and do what he's pretty much told to do or what he knows to do. So by him saying, do it, I think the whole thing about it is the fact that, oh my God, we're in this predicament. We're finally in this predicament, maybe. And what if people see? And so I'm kind of leaning more towards this idea of maybe he is trying to just tempt her to see if she'll expose it. But then it's also interesting if he's like, do it, you know, do what we came in here to do, or do what you know you want to do, or do something, you know, really do something. But I just think he's playing this mind. It's a mind fuckery. I feel like it is. Like he's just trying to pull her along and see how far she'll go. But then he knows that by stopping where you all stopped, you all have unfinished business, maybe. I don't know. It's always, I guess it's always fun to have unfinished business because you know you got something to come back to. I don't know.
And also like the psychology of it all, if he is really her manservant, you know what I mean? Now the power dynamic has shifted drastically, and he's probably really reveling in this power.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got something she wants.
Yeah, because it says I don't think he ever took his clothes off.
No, I don't think this is why this reminds me of 50 Shades of Grey so much, because he is just having his way. She likes it, but she didn't know it was going to get this far, probably. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Yeah. And it be at the director's discretion for how they want to go.
You know, and it could be, you know, depending on how the director directs, you know, it could be a conversation. You know, we can figure this out.
Right.
What feels right? What looks right? What makes the most sense? What story are we telling? You know. But anywho, I'm okay if you all are okay. Morgan, I'm thinking we're gonna do a live reading next week. So we'll invite folks to be with us as we read.
I love that.
I think it'll be fun. I hope people will join. So anyway, and then I would like to do that moving forward after a while, like starting in the late part of June. But I'll talk to y'all about that if you all are able and interested and willing. and we'll have that conversation in a little bit. But otherwise, I hope you all have a good weekend. You know.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, be strong, and I love you.
Yeah, sending
Love
love
you too.
and light and peace
Right.
to y'all and some
Yeah.
love. Power to the people.
Okay. All
Yeah.
day, all day, all night, and into the next day. Y'all later.
All right, y'all.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.